Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second day of sixth quarterly meeting for the school. Know me, I'm Julie Weiss, and I am the chair of November SILC. Dawn, could you take roll call
I sure can. Julie Weissman Steinbach.
here?
Sabra McWhorter Clark is also excused absent today. Margaret Marcucci.
I'm here.
Linda Voivoda.
Here.
Dee Dee Formaster.
Here.
Lisa Bonney. I did not see her. Okay. Sheena Childers.
Here.
Lori Lutu.
Here.
And we have quorum.
It's really at the preamble for public.
Okay. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under public comment period unless the matter itself has been specifically included on an agenda as an action item. To provide public comment telephonically, dial 1-253-215-8782. When prompted to provide the meeting ID, enter 929-904-1434 and passcode 707401. Comments will be allowed at the beginning and end of each day and will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Persons making comments will be asked to begin by stating their name for the record and to spell their last name and provide the secretary with written comments.
Does anyone have any public comments? No public.
I don't see any hands up, Julie.
Okay. That here was interested in joining stuff. Sydney, don't go away.
She already walked away before she heard that, I think.
I know.
But we will give her another chance.
Okay, let's come back and remind me.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna start with an exciting presentation from our Youth Action Committee. Hi, could you introduce the committee members?
Yes, thank you, Julie. This is Haiyan Vang. I'm the Youth Outreach Specialist for the Youth Action Council. And today we have 3 members that will be sharing a little bit about, again, give you guys an update about what YAC has been up to. The first member would be Annabelle Miranda. Are you here? You can go ahead and start.
Thank you, Ms. Fang. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for just giving us this time. I really appreciate it. Before I go ahead and get started with our updates, I want to tell you just a little bit about myself. So I am 16 years old. I am graduating from high school early this year, so I am a senior. I'm Mexican and native, wearing a green shirt, I have long brown hair. And so I'm here. I'm a recent YAC member, so I haven't been here for too long. What I do like about it so far, though, is just how supportive everyone is. I'm excited to get involved. So that's just a little bit about me. Now I'm going to give you our updates. So Nevada Statewide Youth Action Council update. This has been updated to November of 2025. So as of September 2025, Youth Action Council, or YAC, previously voted to meet on GroupMe on the first Friday of every month from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Due to members' varying schedules, this meeting time may change going forward just to better accommodate both current and future members. We will keep you updated on that. YAC currently has 4 active members representing Las Vegas, Sparks, Reno. And then additionally, there are 3 new individuals who have expressed interest in learning more about the council. Once they become active participants in our meetings and activities, we will formally plan to welcome them as official members and include their bios on our website. So some recent highlights for you are in October of 2025, all 4 YAC members had the opportunity to attend the April conference. Let me give you just a little bit of history on that. The Association of Programs for Rural Independent Living, or APRIL, is a national grassroots consumer-controlled nonprofit membership organization composed of Centers for the Independent Living, their satellites, statewide independent living councils, and individuals committed to addressing the independent living needs of people with disabilities in rural America. At this year's conference, Kason Fong, a YAC member, hosted a workshop titled Know Your Rights, Understanding Youth Protections and Accommodations under the ADA, which you will hear about a little bit more in a second. Hannah, Kyson, and Calvin, YAC members, jointly led another session titled Change Starts Here, Youth Voices in Action. Our next steps and upcoming initiatives. YAC is currently working on identifying its next major initiative for the council to collaborate on. Members began discussing possible ideas during the November 7th, 2025 meeting, and the conversation will continue during the December 2025 meeting, where members will vote from a list of proposed projects. The selective initiative will guide YAC's focus and actions for the upcoming months. So thank you so much again, Nevada SILC, for just allowing us to come join you guys. I love what you guys are doing. Now you're going to hear a little bit more, so I'm going to yield the floor to Calvin. Calvin, you have the floor. Thank you all.
All right. Hello, my name is Calvin Lay. I am also a member of the Youth Action Council, and I will be giving some updates about the workshop that we held during the April conference. So our YAC Council actually held 2 workshops, and the first one was titled Change Starts Here, Youth Voices in Action. And I believe Hyan sent a link in the chat, so if you click on it, you can follow along with the presentation. So the 3 members who presented this workshop were Hannah Hansen, Kyson Fong, and Calvin Lay. And so during the workshop, we passed out some Nevada Silk themed bags. And when we also talked about advocacy among youth, so this workshop was targeted primarily towards youth. And we had about 30 participants in the workshop. And so one highlight from the workshop is that we talked about storytelling. So we explained how storytelling was more than just writing and reading. We talked about it, how we can use it as a powerful tool to speak up and advocate. And then we also gave examples of youth in action. So since this workshop was targeted towards youth, we looked at a lot of examples. For example, here in Nevada, we have the Youth Senate program. So we discussed about that. We also talked about a group of middle schoolers in 6th grade who went out and advocated for school lunch. And we also talked about the Youth in Government program from the YMCA. And then we also provided resources for youth and the April during the April conference for people to find resources on contacting their local and statewide legislators. So we provided an email template for people to use just in case if they wanted to write to their representatives or their legislators, they would be able to have that email template to use. And then we also prepared a activity at the end of our workshop that allowed people to actually create their own version of a bill. So a lot of the youth during the conference, we passed out a sheet of paper that was similar to a worksheet, and they were able to brainstorm and discuss and work among each other to come up with their own bill to talk about an issue or advocate for a policy that they're passionate about. So that is the recap of one of our workshops. Then I will pass it to Kai-Sin Fong, who will give a recap of his workshop.
Hi everyone. I'm Kaisen. I apologize if the Wi-Fi if I cut out or anything like that. I'm on the car right now. But a quick visual description of me is that I am an Asian male with short black hair, wearing a blue sweater right now. And I'm also a Yak member. So as part of our April our participation in April, during October, we also presented, in addition to our joint workshop about youth activism and change, I also personally presented a workshop called Know Your Rights, Understanding Youth Protections and Accommodations under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And that workshop was both of our workshops were mainly youth focused. So we saw like a very large youth demographic in the audience. I believe over half of the participants could be considered youth. So we were able to tailor our presentation to their interests, I would say. My presentation personally was more of a just a briefing and instructional workshop about general youth protections. I started by introducing sort of the main protections that are available to youth under the ADA, which I believe most of the audience members were familiar with, but it's some were not, so it was always good to review about 504s and IEPs and how those work in schools. And then I transitioned into talking about how we can best advocate to get the support and protections that we need in these spaces at schools. So for example, how to best self-advocate for yourself, knowing your needs and so forth. We also discussed several intersectional areas of concern with disability. For example, a disability in the juvenile justice system, how many youth in the JJ network are often undiagnosed, up to 70%. We talked about that. We talked about other intersections, such as with race and gender and with marginalized communities in general, how disability can often intersect with those as well. And then that was primarily the sort of the main part of the presentation, sort of talking about how disability can intersect with other fields as well. So how it's important to recognize that everyone has a different background. We also, finally, I think at the end, I believe I talked about Title II and Title III protections for not just schools, but also in environments outside of schools, such as summer camps and extracurricular programming and so forth. So I thought that was also a really important part of the presentation. For each presentation, I think in addition to providing our contact at the end, we also gave out goodie bags to everyone. By just everyone who came got a goodie bag, and inside there were several items, like sponsored items, with the NV Silk and Youth Action Council labeling and logo on it, that High-End procured from like manufacturing companies. So we put those into the goodie bags, and also an informational brochure about Youth Action Council's goals and so forth. So I thought we were able to raise a lot of awareness of our goals as the Youth Action Council, as several of the other states, such as Arizona and Montana, they had very well developed youth spaces, but a lot of other states did not have that sort of framework yet, and we were able to speak to a lot of people who were interested in establishing their own youth action councils. So that was my main takeaway from the conference. It was to learn about how we can improve our own youth council internally, and also how we can communicate our experience and pass on those ideas onto other youth action councils to inspire them as well. So that's about it for my recap about the April conference. I had a great time, and thank you to all the SILC members for making it happen. I think I'll pass it on to the third panelist of our workshop, along with me and Calvin. Is Hannah presenting?
I don't believe so. I think
Okay.
you are the last presenter. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. And then also, I'd like to thank Hannah, Hansen, and Stacy. They're also part of the YAC, and they're also here today, able to join us, but they won't be presenting. And I believe we're open for question and answer if anyone has any. Thank you, Julie. I guess we can, someone else can go on now.
I just have one quick comment. This is Dee Dee Formaster for the record. I have to say the YAC members were absolutely incredible at the conference and really made me have faith.
Thank you, Dee Dee. They are very amazing.
They are.
This is Dawn Lyons. I would just like to express my gratitude to the Youth Action Council for all the initiation that they've taken and really been go-getters as far as, the Nevada Trip Program and youth transition and education in that regard. That's, a huge part of this effort that we're trying to incorporate. And so I just really appreciate, just how excited you guys have been and involved. It means a lot.
Otherwise, then for the record, may I quickly ask each member how they got connected with that? I'm just curious. Dawn, could you repeat?
I'm not exactly sure what you said because I don't think that the captions said it properly.
I heard it. I believe, Julie, did you say that you were wondering how each YAC member got connected with YAC?
Yes.
Calvin, would you like to go first?
Hi, my name is Calvin, and I got connected with FIAC, I think back in June or July of this year. I don't exactly remember how I found YAC, but I've been an active member since then.
Welcome.
I can answer for myself. My name is Hannah Hansen. Last name is Hanson. My camera is off. I went to a volunteer fair and I met Dee Dee, and she told me about how awesome YAC was and how I should definitely join. So that's how I found out about it.
Hi, this is Annabelle Miranda again, Miranda. I think I'm one of the most recent YAC members. I joined, I believe I reached out to Hyen in around September. I'm the type of person, I'm super ambitious, I'm involved, and hold like different types of positions in all sorts of organizations, including FBLA, HOSA, student councils, things. And so I was just looking for another way that I could like expand my network and I could get involved, especially post graduation. I wanted to build a community that I could support and who could also support me after I graduate in May 2026. So I was just looking around. I found the Youth Action Council website and I immediately resonated with it. And I reached out and they offered me a membership. So that is how I got involved. Thank you.
This is Stacy. I did it through from the beginning of this year. I'm involved in another committee, Nevada Governors Council on Developmental Disabilities, and at that time, I think back in March, they were doing a developmental disabilities awareness day. So I went to that, and in Carson City, that's where I met Cheyenne. So, and then yeah, I things took off from there. Yeah.
Thank you. Linda, do you have a question?
There's also Kyson.
Sorry.
Julie. Yeah.
Yeah. This is Kyson. My camera's also off. I think I joined Yak in about April or May or around that time, when it was still like very small, when there were only maybe 2 or 3 members. And yeah, I think I found it on like social media. I don't remember which platform, but we have like a pretty large like sort of just posting on social media and so forth for Yak. So I was able to find out about it through there. And yeah, once I found out about it, I just reached out to Hyen through the website. And you know, all the information was there, so it was really easy to sort of know what I was getting into and also know how I could get involved. So that's how I got involved. Yeah.
Thank you everyone for sharing. Julie, I believe that's all the members that are here.
Okay. Thank you. Linda, do you have a question?
Yes, Julie, I do. This is for the Yak members. I am just wondering what it's Linda Voda for the record, VEJVODA. I was wondering with the youth, and it's very interesting to me because I remember back when I was younger, I never heard of anything like this. But what are your aspirations as far as being a part of Yak, and where do you see it leading yourself in the future?
This is a fantastic question. This is Annabelle Miranda once again, Miranda. Where I see myself in the future with Yak, I see myself helping expand it, creating more awareness for other youth, people of all ages, really, but what the youth can do to get involved. I want to just expand it and elevate it. I feel like that's something I do whenever I join any sort of organization. I really try to elevate it, be there to serve. And so I see myself being in Yak for a very long time. I don't see myself leaving. I think I love this, and this is what I want to, help do and help create and help elevate. Once again, I think it's really important for me to stress that. And so I don't see myself leaving Yak anytime soon. I want to expand it, create more awareness, and just be a part of something beautiful. Thank you. I yield the floor.
So I can talk. So I'm involved with other committees besides Yak. But this organization was since I'm glad I joined this organization as well as the other committees. I mean, being a social worker myself, I want to spread more awareness for people with disabilities and other vulnerable populations. So, yeah, that's what I'm continuing and doing and wanting to do that in the future moving forward. So.
This is Kaisen Fang. That's a great question. I would say personally, I my own aspirations are pretty similar to that of Stacy and Annabelle. I think Yak is just a great way for us to learn more about like grassroots advocacy and how to sort of raise awareness of issues that we're passionate about. And I think specifically with Yak, since it's so youth focused, and as youth, sometimes it can be a little difficult for our voices to be heard. I think it's really important that these frameworks be set up. I was really inspired by one state's youth framework at the April conference that we learned about. Montana, they have a very well developed sort of a youth summer camp that lasts like a week, and like 30 to 40 kids go every year. I believe it's also all expenses paid, so it's just a great experience for those kids. It's called Montana Youth Leadership Forum, and so youth with disabilities can go to that camp and sort of learn more about how to advocate for themselves and advocate for their community. And I think if Montana can do it, I think Nevada can do it. So I think that was really something that was really inspiring that we saw at the conference. And if we could create something like that, that would be really great. So I would say generally at some point our Yak members are going to, like, we're not going to be youth anymore. But for the foreseeable future, I think once we leave this youth phase, I think if we've learned stuff from Yak, lessons that we can apply to other fields as well, and then sort of just give back to the community, I think that would be really amazing. So it's really just a great learning experience for all of us.
Hi, this is Calvin Lei, last name spelled L-E. I guess similar to Kaisen, where I see myself going with Yak and the goals that I have in mind for Yak would be kind of similar to the youth camp idea. I would hope to be able to connect youth from all across Nevada, from the most rural communities to big cities like Las Vegas. I hope we can do something so that all youth in our state have representation.
Thank you, everybody. I see you. This is Linda Voda again for the record, VE. And I see you guys going forward with your life as good careers in this present time. You are the ones that are beneficial to creating and building bridges for our future. So I applaud you for all your efforts and all your diligent work that you are going to be doing.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Dee Dee Formaster for the record. I just wanted to say, if you guys want to get a youth leadership program camp going, please let me know, because I have some contacts here at Lake Tahoe and we can make that happen. Thanks so much.
Any other questions? I'd like to thank each of you for making time to present to us today. I think And at least for me, it really is highlight of my week. So thank you so, so much. If there's nothing else, I'm gonna move on. Cindy, would you introduce yourself?
Oh no, Cindy, are you leaving again?
What did I do?
Maybe
Okay,
since Sutter's here, we could let him talk about,
that's what I was going
yeah, come back to
to
Cindy again.
do. Do you have a report?
Yes, hello. Sutter Rawlings for the record, Rollings. I also apologize if my connection is bad. I am also in the car currently. Um, as for in regards to what's happening in legislature right now, the I believe it's 35th or 36th special session has just started. I actually was passing by legislators this morning. um, I have not had the chance to get into legislature right now. I am working on my own schedule to hopefully next week get in there. There are no bills that they're currently talking about that are pertinent to the disabled community. Um, all of those have either already passed through within the regular session or just unfortunately had failed. Um, there is one that's about healthcare, though it really is not in the sect of general healthcare or disabled healthcare. Um, so unfortunately, I don't have any bills to speak on. However, I do plan on getting into legislature, speaking to legislators that I have not currently been able to speak to. And we still have plenty of informational documents that we had made, so we have plenty to give out. I also have been looking as for events. It seems that during special legislature sessions, they do not have events. So I do not believe that any, as for RCIL or overall SILC, will be able to table. But nonetheless, I believe that I can hopefully find meetings with legislators to let them know what's going on with the disabled community.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Dee Dee, Formaster for the record. They just opened this morning, but they're supposed to be trying to get the crime bill passed, which it didn't pass before. I don't think it's going to pass again because unless there's some negotiation going on. And also a lot of another bill that they're trying to get through is the one that has to do with film credits so that filming can be started in Nevada. So, and it does sound like they've kind of hammered out things that need to happen before those credits are added to the film industry there in Las Vegas. So they have a long way to go. Even if that bill passes, it's going to still be quite a while before the structure is in place. So I don't know what else they're going to have that may pop up, but it'll be interesting to see. That's what's great about special sessions is you never know. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? Please. Go on.
This is Dawn Lyons. I don't have any questions, so to speak, but I do want to say thank you, both of you, for those updates. Nothing about us without us means there is no disability unrelated legislature, right? Because we need to be a part of all of it and understand what's happening. But that being said, I totally get where you're coming from. Sutter, we've all been in limbo for quite a while until yesterday, as a matter of fact. So it's kind of nice to see that the ball has started rolling again. And we appreciate, that you're going to be looking into it moving forward. So thank you guys both.
Yes, thank you very much, Don.
Thank you.
This is Dee Dee, Formaster, for the record. We couldn't have done this without the support of this council. And so I want to tell you how much I appreciate the opportunity for Sutter to be able to get out there and learn all about the legislature and represent us there. Thank you very much for your support.
It's important work. Thank you. Okay. I'm gonna try this again. Cindy, would you please introduce yourself?
Are you asking for Cindy Swanson?
Yes, the one and only.
Okay.
Cindy Swanson.
All right. Cindy Swanson. I am right now part of the public. I have been advocating in Nevada for the last 5 years, and I asked Dawn if I could become a member. So I'm kind of becoming part of the process once again. So thank you so much. Okay, I'm blind. I have a son, my husband and I have a son with Down syndrome. I'm 72 years old. I'm white. I have blonde hair, which is colored every 6 weeks. I'm short and chubby. And that's all that you need to know. I do a lot of advocacy. So thank you so much. That was very kind of you. Thank you.
I'm excited about the prospect of you joining us. Okay, we're gonna now go to agenda number 6. Discussion of the federal budget and the civil services. Dawn, would you like to take the lead on this?
This is Dawn Lyons. I believe we did cover agenda 6 and 7 yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I was hoping that there would be somebody representative from Northern Nevada Center for Independent Living today to help give us their recap or to help give us their report. But is there anyone here? I'm just curious because I don't necessarily see anyone off the top of my head.
Well, Dawn, if you step in, I'm gonna read that.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What?
an emergency. I'll just request Linda, could you take over first?
Linda, are you able to take over chairing? Julie has an urgency that she has to attend to and leave the meeting.
What agenda item are we on again? Because I just pulled up the agenda.
There's not a whole lot left. You'll be happy to hear. Bye, Julie. Thank you. We were on agenda number 8 is the next one since no one did respond from Northern Nevada Center for Independent Living. That's the discussion regarding bill amendments.
You want to go to 9?
No, I mean, we're on number 8. That's the next one we need to address.
Okay. Okay. So sorry. Okay, so the next one is agenda 8. It's regarding the spill amendments to consider for next fiscal year. And by the way, I'm Linda Vejvoda, VEJ, I am vice chairperson. Thank you for voting me in. And so bear with me, I'm not used to this. So is there anything that needs to be discussed on the amendments?
Actually, Linda, I'm so sorry to interrupt. This is Dawn Lyons. I just realized with Julie leaving, we no longer have quorum.
Oh, great. Okay.
So either we can table the rest of the agenda items until the next meeting in January, which is scheduled for 7th and 8th of January at 1 p.m. both days. Sorry, everyone, I just realized that, but we can do a last minute public comment, I believe.
Okay.
As is required.
Okay, so
do you want me to read?
I'm so sorry.
Do you want me to read the preamble for the public comment?
Really fast. Julie just wanted me to let you guys know she'll be back in like 3 to 5 minutes.
Oh, so maybe we can just hold off a little while.
Yeah,
let's take a break.
Just a couple minutes.
Let's take a 10-minute break now, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that. I'm all for that.
We'll come back at 2:01.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. Sorry for the confusion, but I'm back. We're on item 8, and John, would you speak to
that? Did you want me to read the agenda item?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a discussion regarding spill amendments to consider for the next fiscal year. This kind of ties in with our progress on our current approved spill and what the situation is with our fiscal approvals, non-approvals for our asks on salaries or positions. And so since the last legislature did not approve our requests, we had gone ahead and written our spill as if they had been approved ahead of time because we didn't know which way it was going to go, with the knowledge that if they didn't approve it, we would have to amend our spill. That being said, our state plan for independent living, now we also have other things to consider that are on the table that I would like to make sure that we address before we begin the process of amending that spill, creating a new draft and holding town halls and making sure we have all our bases covered, right? One of those being that we were in our current spill going to evaluate the relationship with our designated state entity. Maybe we should take things one thing at a time and start with that as a topic and see if there's anything that anyone would like to discuss now. Or here's one other option that I considered is that since we have also in our state plan, and this kind of ties in with our evaluation of our objectives as well for our currently approved spill, is that we were scheduled to evaluate the disability services being provided by our current designated state entity, which is Aging and Disability Services, and provide recommendations regarding their Olmsted plan and their services that they're providing, and how we view what we evaluated on in that regard. And so I kind of actually like to propose that we create a subcommittee to really go over all of those items about and regarding our DSE, including our relationship in the independent living network with them, and just have more in-depth discussions among ourselves before we bring ideas back to the main council to include in our next spill draft. Does that sound reasonable to everybody? Sorry.
I think that sounds great. This is Linda. They voted for the record.
This is Dee Dee Formaster for the record. I think it's important to really take a good look at what other states are also doing in this area. And having a subcommittee would allow us the time to be able to do that. Thank you.
This is Margaret Marcucci for the record, and I agree, we need a subcommittee to look at what's going on.
And Julie, sorry, this is Dawn. Did you say something? I couldn't quite hear what you started to say.
I said I agree. I think it's a committee. It's in order.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I don't remember how many people can we have without violating open meeting law.
This is Dawn Lyons. To answer that question, it's in our bylaws that our subcommittees are required to have at least 2 SILC members, but there is no cap to how many members can be included in our subcommittees.
Okay. We would like to be on this committee.
And I'm sorry to interrupt. This is Dawn Lyons, just so everybody is aware. These subcommittees also can include people who are not SILC members currently. Any stakeholder who would like to evaluate those things between the SILC and the DSE, and the DSE's performance with disability services, all of those things that are in our state plan are welcome to join this subcommittee. And I thought that's also important to get those other outside opinions that are affected by this decision too.
Or potential SILC members.
Right.
Kids.
And Cindy. Or Randall.
Sydney. Okay, so who wants to be on the subcommittee?
Profit and loss we can't do. We've got that one.
I'd be willing to serve on this committee because I think it's vitally important.
This is Haiyan Bang. For the subcommittee here, how would one be able to join? And would YAC members be can they be included in that, or so I could know to bring it back to them and see?
I think because it's a subject matter, I think we have to include everyone. But I'm not sure the it's what do you think, Dawn?
So this is Dawn Lyons. I don't think that the Silk has ever been opposed to anyone who's interested in providing, their input as being a member of our subcommittees. So if a youth action member felt like it was pertinent and that they had an opinion on that, I don't see why we wouldn't welcome anyone to join the subcommittee. My concern is that their goals and objectives may not be in alignment with that current spill objective that we have for our silk. But I mean, honestly, nothing about us without us. So, if someone wanted to, I don't see why not.
Yeah, this is Haiyan. The only reason why I ask is because I do have a few members that are very eager to just kind of learn and be part of councils and subcommittee. And so I think for them, it's more for a learning opportunity and just being like a fly on the wall. So it's not, I mean, and that's why I just wanted to know, are they welcome to join?
So this is Dawn Lyons, absolutely. So all of our meetings are open to the public. According to open meeting law, we're a public body. We have to announce those meetings on our website, on the public meeting website. We have them posted in a physical place, typically at Aging and Disability Services office. We do everything according to open meeting law. And of course, everyone from the public is allowed to attend and listen. If they're not a member, however, or if they don't want to participate, there's no obligation. They can just come in and listen, like you said, like a fly on the wall. Oh, and even provide public comment if they did want to mention something or something moved them to speak about it. And that doesn't necessarily mean that if they're, giving public comment that the subcommittee would discuss it, but it would be then up to the committee to bring it up and decide that. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So who is we have Dee?
Well, certainly I am. I definitely need to be a part of that subcommittee. This is Dawn Lyons.
Yeah.
I also would like to say it might be nice to have a youth point of view about, the future of the designated state entity. Maybe, Dawn, you need to explain a little bit about what the designated state entity does. Maybe that would help too.
Okay, I mean, it's on our website, under our state plan and under our I have several different places that I can refer people to describe that. It's all outlined by the federal guidance that ACL gives us, or the Administration for Community Living. The designated state entity is required to do several things for us, and they have assurances that they sign, but they really are the ones who just receive our money from the federal agency and report on it. They distribute it to us and they allow us to spend that money in allowable ways, meaning federally and state allowable means. However, that there's a lot of nuances to that, depending on what state agency it is, our DSE, and what their rules are and their processes. So that's going to be a big portion of the topic of discussion, I think, is, whether those processes are in alignment with what the federal regulations state their assurances should be to us. Those are kinds of some of the things that we need to take a look at in depth and really decide if we're a good match. I know that's kind of a convoluted answer to your question, but I don't know how to answer that in a simple manner necessarily.
This is Haiyan. Can I be part of that subcommittee too, or no?
Julie? I mean, you heard my stance on it, Julie. It's up to you.
Yes, I do. Everybody's welcome. Yeah. Anybody else?
Hi guys, this is Randall Owen with the NSED at UNR. I mean, I'd be interested in being a part of it. Not fully a Silk member yet, so I was letting you all talk, but hopefully I will be appointed sometime soon.
This is Dawn Lyons. The governor's office said they were getting close to getting to the Silk appointments, so hopefully that will happen soon. Julie, something I was thinking as well is there may be outside stakeholders that would like to participate, as well as, maybe a Silk member or two that wasn't able to attend today. So it might be a good idea to send out an email to our interested parties list and our Silk members once again. Just you might hear it again if that's okay with you guys, getting duplicate information, just so that I can get an accurate head count of who might be interested in that subcommittee.
I think that's a very good idea.
Okay. All right. And then as far as that subcommittee goes, I don't think it's too soon to start talking about this. Maybe, because open meeting law requires us to have so many things in place. We need at least a few weeks to schedule something, but just to make sure that we're in that we're I can't think of the word, but we're following open meeting law. In compliance. Thank you. That was what I was looking for. So
This is Linda. I'm sorry, Don, for interrupting. This is Linda Vejvoda for the record. Is this just about the state budget and the federal budget, that they're the money part of it, or is it, I'm just kind of at loss because I really don't want to be involved in the financial part of it, but I'm a little bit at loss. I mean, I understand that there's certain laws that you have to follow and guidelines, but it's not just about the money, right? What else is it about?
Right. So this is Dawn Lyons. Now that you say that, Linda, you bring up a valid point, and that is that probably not a lot of us were here when the decision was made to utilize Aging and Disability Services as our designated state entity, and what the background behind that decision was. I think that might even be beneficial for people to understand in order to make a proper assessment of what that looks like now and if it's turned out the way it was expected to. So perhaps at the next Silk meeting, I can maybe get someone who has that history and that background. Mary Evil Sizer, you may have that. And I don't know if you want to share that or if you want to prepare something to present to the Silk at the next meeting, but perhaps between you and John Rosenlind, or just some of the people who were here during that time to see how everything happened, because I wasn't even. So, I mean, it may be something that really helps the subcommittee as well as the Silk to decide those kinds of things.
Dawn, this is Mary Evilsizer, Evilsizer. For the record, I'm not a council member. I'm an executive director for the Southern Nevada Center for Independent Living. But no, Dawn, I would be happy to do a brief with John and anybody else that would like to join in on that to help the Silk understand how it is that we got here under Division on Aging today. So no problem. I'll have it ready and send you a copy of the outline prior to the next meeting.
Yeah, and I hope John doesn't mind me volunteering him.
I'll check. He won't. And if he does, I don't mind going it alone. So, but he won't. I know, John.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So maybe it would be better just to schedule a subcommittee meeting after the next Silk meeting so that we can get that background before we really start getting into discussions about how it looks now. What do you
I
guys
think that's a good idea.
Okay.
I
Well,
think
then,
that'd be really great because I need to make a decision and I want to make sure that I'm making a good decision on joining a committee that I understand a little bit better about.
yeah, that makes sense, Linda.
That
Okay.
makes
So we will revisit this at the next SILC then.
Thank you for your question.
And it's going to happen a lot quicker than you're used to because we usually have our quarterly meeting in October and it's already November. So we only have 2 more months till the next SILC meeting anyway. So it'll happen before we know it. So Julie, can I just kind of go right into the agenda number 9 discussion since
That's what I was gonna suggest. Yes.
It's just related so much, but there are other things that are in our goals and objectives that we kind of need to discuss or at least remember that we're supposed to be doing. One of them is that SILC will perform a regional consumer study to determine underserved and or unserved areas to determine feasibility for a memorandum of understanding between Centers for Independent Living in Nevada by September 30th, 2025. I would like to suggest that the Centers for Independent Living and I or Julie, one of us two, meet with each other outside of a SILC meeting. It doesn't necessarily have to be open meeting law, but if more than one SILC member is present, then of course it would have to be. So, if it were, say, Lisa is there and Julie is there, it would have to be agendized and according to open meeting law. But if it's just a discussion, I can provide data and maybe if it's me instead of you, Julie, then it can just be Lisa, Mary, and myself, and we can discuss that. And of course, Dee Dee, I'm not trying to exclude you from the discussion, but if you and Lisa are there, that's 2 SILC members, it becomes a subcommittee and it has to be agendized according to open meeting law. But I just thought to get the discussion started on data, that it might be a good idea for the Centers for Independent Living to see that data and to, discuss what that looks like. Or do you think I should just bring it to the SILC at the next meeting and we can all discuss it there? I don't know.
Mary, what do you think?
I think that we can maybe meet with the data, Dawn, if you'd like, with either Julie and Lisa and myself. And again, just to make it, well, wait a minute. Julie and Lisa are.
Yeah, I was going to say, or
Yeah.
Julie, or if instead of Lisa, Lisa would appoint Mark to come and discuss that for her in her stead, then it wouldn't be breaking open meeting law.
That wouldn't be. And then also you mentioned another good possibility would be if Lisa and I met with you, Dawn, and then I wouldn't mind a pre-meeting because I'd like to look at the data. I know we each have our own concept from grassroots working in our communities, what's going on, but it would be good to look at the data. But I also would encourage that all the SILC members look at the data, during the meeting, and definitely it's up for input for SILC members. But I do appreciate the opportunity to view the data in advance. And again, we reviewed a lot of data, and for SILC members in our state, where all counties are underserved. So that should not be a surprise, but it's just we have to decide which ones carry the population they're the most underserved. So, all right, so that works for me. I'm game for whatever. Either it seems, Dawn, that the most logical would be you, me, and Lisa looking at that data first, but then also sharing it with all SILC members at the next meeting.
Right. And this is Dawn Lyons. I only say that because, I know the data is only data. And yes, absolutely, I'll send the data out to everyone. But I also wanted to give the Centers for Independent Living an opportunity to really see what that data looks like before being blindsided necessarily at a huge meeting, So,
I appreciate that.
But I have a lot going on in my personal life.
You have data?
So it's done. We keep this hot. I'd really appreciate it.
okay. I can do that.
Thank you.
I didn't hear that, Dawn. I'm sorry.
So Julie's just asking me if I can meet with Mary and Lisa prior to the next Silk meeting regarding the data. I will send the data to all Silk members, of course, and Mary and everybody who's involved there, and then we can discuss it at the next meeting. I'll have it available as a meeting material as well, so that we can discuss that then.
And can
Just-
Dee Dee and I go through ours with you?
Yeah, you know what? We can do that separately, I think. I think you and Dee Dee and either you and me or Dee Dee and me can do that separately alone. And then,
Okay.
we can meet of course, we'll discuss it at the next Silk meeting.
Okay. All right. Because, yeah, I mean, it's when you say that and it's just the two of us trying to get all this in, it is totally hard.
It is totally what?
It's hard. It's really hard.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
No, I know it's hard to make everybody feel like they're being counted and included when I want to ensure that people have the opportunity to hash through some of the more private issues before we bring it to the main public body. That's all.
This is Dee Dee Formaster for the record. Do you even have data from us, Dawn?
I have data from the Silk. Remember, we were including it in our consumer satisfaction report. We included some questions that would provide some data for us regarding regional servicing as far as independent living services go. And so I have actually yet to look at that data in depth, but I will get it together and send it out to everyone. And then we'll be able to know better from there where to go.
Yeah. I think it might be good for me, you and Margaret, to get together so we can take a look at our data, because I have to tell you that NNCIL as well as SNCIL have staff. We do not. So it's extremely difficult for us to be doing 10,365 million things at once. And when, there's nobody but me in my office and Margaret in her office in Elko. And it's just extremely difficult data wise. So
I can reach out to you and Margaret separately, but if we all three of us get together, you and Margaret and we would have to agendize it according to open meeting law because you both are Silk members and it is a Silk issue. So I can discuss these things with you after you both have had a chance to discuss it with each other. I can talk to maybe you first, Dee Dee, and see if anything else is needed. So
okay.
Mary?
For the record, this is Mary Evilsizer. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Dawn, if you'd like, I can bring some data that breaks down the state by county and then breaks down the population in each county and then goes even further to break down the total number of SSI or SSDI recipients in each county.
Sure.
Yeah,
That
my
would be great.
understanding, that's the kind of data that we were looking at to find, the voids and gaps based on the population that we're serving. Also, I think we could probably also get some data from and I can try to get this for us, but also from the Department of Education, again, breaking it down by county and breaking it down by the total number of students with disabilities in each county. So that my thought was to create a map to find the voids and gaps, based on population. But the SILC results, I remember you passed those out before. That would be good. But if you'd like, I can contribute that kind of data.
Sure. And I may be able to, because I know in the past I've also gotten some needs assessment data from the grants management council in the past too. So I may be able to get that as well.
Perfect. And then I do know that and I can try to get this data, the housing, gosh, I can't think of the name. We are members. It's a coalition statewide, but they have some excellent data on housing also, and where the largest voids and gaps are in relation to the number of homeless and the number of housing units available. So that, so if I can bring some of that data, and Dee Dee and Linda, I'm happy to share that data with all of us and all of the SILC, just to do a geographic assessment as well.
So it's Dee Dee and Margaret. Oh. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
So this is Dawn Lyons. That's a fantastic idea. I'm a little bit concerned with overwhelming the SILC with a lot of different sources of data. So maybe what the SILC would like us to do, you can weigh in on the SILC, is perhaps when we meet, we can collect that data together, really review it, and try to put a summary together for the SILC, if that makes sense.
Of course. That is no problem. Okay. So, all righty. I will get started on that then. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, and then something else I've highlighted here. I just wanted to remind everyone, because it's in our state plan for independent living, that our goals surrounding the Youth Outreach Council, or Youth Action Council, and it says under objective 1.3 is to collaborate with and provide ongoing support for youth transition services, employment, and education. The indicators under that pertain to what our goals are that SILC will coordinate and supervise a youth outreach specialist to educate rural and underserved communities regarding youth transition services and lead a youth action council for youth with disabilities statewide. Another one is the SILC will provide oversight and training for the SILC's Youth Action Council Youth Outreach Specialist program or position to coordinate youth transition services with the Youth TRIP grant funded program as grant funding is maintained. And then the other one was the SILs will provide the SILC with current quarterly updates regarding youth transition specific data. And so I just wanted to remind everyone that, although the Youth Action Council is doing so amazingly well, and we're also impressed, including myself, very impressed, that we maintain our focus on the Nevada Youth TRIP program, which is a major part of the funding. And then there's another one I wanted to, unless anyone has any questions about that, I also wanted to move on to under goal 2 indicator is SILC will reestablish their 501c3 status by the end of federal fiscal year 27. I had a schedule. Yay. I just want to say we've accomplished that one. So we can, I like check boxes sometimes. And then let's see, we've already talked about the DSE and our relationship, and also how we said we would evaluate their services overall and their Olmsted give written recommendations regarding their Olmsted plan. And so now we have the subcommittee that we're going to do with that, and after our next meeting. And is there anything else? There was one under objective 3.3 that says a memorandum of understanding will be reviewed and revisited for any necessary changes. That I definitely, say that our MOU is outdated. We've gone through a couple different administrators and we're still pending one, as right now we have an interim. So, that's definitely outdated. So we've definitely reviewed and checked that status. But I think with our discussions about what our next bill amendment should include, I think that's something that's going to come up in that, and we'll be able to really determine how we should move forward with an MOU at that point. And then the SILC will evaluate the effectiveness of its relationship with the DSE, which I've already mentioned that. And okay, and then the other thing was the staffing issue. So the legislature did not approve our staffing requests, and so we still have an AA3, my own position, which the AA3 position is currently vacant. And then we had access to a contracted position. We were utilizing ACRO services, and then the state no longer has a contract with them. So we moved over to Marathon services, which costs us a little bit more. But we need to revisit that issue when we talk about spill amendments as well, because not only do we need to account for our needs, but we also need to account for what legislature has approved and has not approved. So we'll have to make sure we get real clear on our needs in that regard. So those were the things I highlighted that were, necessarily on our agenda for what was on our goals to be accomplished. And so some of them we're obviously not able to accomplish on time because other circumstances have arisen, and other ones, it really falls in line with what kinds of amendments we have to perform. So I just wanted to mention that I think we're on track with our goals and objectives to the degree that we can be. In a nutshell.
Okay. Well, that's throwing at our next meeting is January 7th and 8th.
Well, I also have on agenda 11. Can I just mention something in relation to one of our future agenda items?
Yeah.
I was approached by Laura Fink and Salvatore Fiorentino. I can't say his name, sorry. Fiorentino. I think I said that right. Anyway, he goes by Sal. So Sal and Laura, you guys might remember them from the deaf community. I'm not sure. But they've started a new business. It's called Communication Service for the Deaf Incorporated. They asked if they could provide us with information about what they're doing and at our next meeting. And so I kind of wanted to mention that I'd like to get that on our agenda for the next meeting, if that's okay.
Yes, please.
This is Dee Dee, Form Master, for the record, in regards to the SILC and our amendments. We have to really look back to see where we have come from, to realize how much this council has moved forward. And we have accomplished amazing things in the short term that this council has been working so diligently to make things better for the disabled community. And I think we don't look back enough and then look forward to where we are now to realize where we came from and how great this council has been to help move things forward and do great things. And I know that this council has a great future in providing a better situation for the disabled community in all of Nevada. So I just want to thank all the SILC members that have worked so hard on it. Thank you very much.
Agenda item. And
Did Don disappear?
I'm sorry, I'm getting a message from our captioner. I just want to make sure there's not an issue that I need to address before we end our meeting. I know she's not used to talking during the meeting, so I just want to make sure that she doesn't need anything. I'm not sure what that is yet. Okay, I guess, um, oh, okay, sorry. I guess I just got a message now that she had sent earlier. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure that everybody was set before I let us you end the meeting, Julie. I think everything's okay. Go ahead.
now we have public comment. Dawn, would you read?
Yes. Okay. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under public comment period unless the matter itself has been specifically included on an agenda as an action item. To provide public comment telephonically, dial 1-253-215-8782. When prompted to provide the meeting ID, enter 929-904-1434 and passcode 707401. Comments will be allowed at the beginning and end of each day and will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Persons making comments will be asked to begin by stating their name for the record and to spell their last name and provide the secretary with written comments.
This is Linda. Oh, sorry. Julie, go ahead.
Does anyone have any public comment?
Yes, this is Linda Vejvoda for the record, VEJVODA. I am just wondering if I know that, how can I put this? We talked about transportation. Dee Dee talked about transportation. Is there any way that we can get the transportation person to meet with us on our next meeting to talk about some of the issues and that she or he is trying to accomplish, and what we as SILC members can help the community to come together, to all of our communities to come together for the disabled community. I'm wondering if we can get that person to come to one of our meetings.
This is Dee Dee, Formaster, for the record. I certainly can ask. I think there's a statewide representative, but maybe it might be good to have a statewide representative and then a representative from Southern Nevada, as well as a representative from the Northern Nevada area, so that we could maybe get a better insight into the needs of Northern, Southern, and also statewide.
I think that's great. I don't know if anybody else would agree to that, but yeah, the state, that's what I was really kind of wondering, if we could get the statewide representative to come in and just be in one of our meetings so that we can talk about the issue of transportation. And it's not just for the disability community, it's for all the community, but addressing the disability concerns, like the people that work late and they can't get home, how, and they're relying on other means of transportation. And that is one of my issues.
This is Margaret Marcucci for the record. I know the person in Elko that does the transportation, but Elko is 8 to 5, or excuse me, 6 to 5, Monday through Friday. If you have a problem on the weekend, you better call somebody. And they have done that. They have actually taken, and believe it or not, they quit a quarter mile from my house because I was out of the city limits. Now they go every which direction because all of us scream bloody murder. I will see if I can get Ashley to come to the meeting. All I can do is ask and get told no.
This is Dawn Lyons. I'm just trying to wrap my head around what you guys are asking to be presented at the SILC meeting next.
And I like to suggest that you contact Dawn offline so that, because she's the one that needs to make these. She needs to organize it.
Are you asking me to organize it?
No, Dawn.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Dawn, this is what I'm asking is, and this is Linda Vejvoda for the record. I'm asking if we can get a state representative or a representative from the transportation system for the state, or somebody that can tell us the reasons why each county only does certain things for the transportation and does not does not cater, or not so much cater, but they're not there for the disabled people. I know a lot of disabled people that work. Okay, we live in Carson City. Carson City has a certain time that our busing routes are, but there's also outlying areas that do not reach to certain residential areas. And so my concern is that our transportation needs across Nevada are not being met. They could, come up with some kind of shuttle or some kind of like that. And that's why I was asking if we can address it.
Okay, so this is Dawn Lyons. I have a suggestion, because it sounds to me like you have some specific things that you want them to clarify if they were to come to our meeting to describe those things, and then possibly answer further questions after that if they arise, right?
Right.
So if you could put together, at least articulate the questions that you would like us to ask them in advance to have prepared answers for, that would be amazing. So then we could say, here's what we are looking for from you, and invite them at that point. And then Dee Dee, I heard you say you have knowledge of who that statewide representative is for transportation. Maybe you could give that information to me, or you could reach out and invite that person. And then in each regional area, if whoever wants to be included could just let me know so that I could include those people on the agenda, that would be helpful.
This Dee Farmaster for the record. Sorry, Julie, go ahead.
I prefer that Dawn or I make the invitation because we need to figure out the whole agenda, and it's just easier if we do it. Like, if you get us the context, let us do the initial. Let us reach out, please.
That would be absolutely wonderful because, of course, my plate is always overflowing. So I'll be happy to get everything together for you, let you know who the statewide representative is and who the county representatives are for maybe each county, and maybe we can just invite them all. And yes, there is some real major transportation problems. And yes, there are unfortunately not enough transportation for anyone past the 6 o'clock hour, and even anyone who is at the emergency room, which happens to be, about 6 miles outside of town from here. And it's horrible when you have to walk home at 2 a.m. because there's no transportation to get home from the emergency room. Thank you for letting me harp on.
Yes, thank you. For the record, this is Mary Eagle-Sizer. I would just like to comment that here in Clark County, we work closely with the Regional Transportation Committee, and while they're doing assessments, we partner. And what we do is we do surveys for the disability community. RTC goes as far as they put together events in the parks to gather our disability community. And so they go through a lot of effort to try to improve transportation. And so I am wondering if the transportation committees in other counties are doing the same. We partner with RTC. We can tell them where the problems are, where the routes end, what the situations are that they can look into. And we partnered very well. So I don't know if we have to go county by county because we each struggle. There's struggles in all counties. We've researched that very, very, very well down here in Southern Nevada because we do have issues with people not being able to be transported all the way to work, but just partially to work. Then we have new locations where we need routes. And in each time what we find out, it's not a support issue, it's a funding issue. So we need to rally, I think, towards the funding. The federal government would be the one that could loosen up more funding. Anyway, that's my 2 cents worth. That's my comment. And that's how we work in Clark County for transportation. And of course, the improvements are well needed. Thank you.
This is Dawn Lyons. Thanks, Mary. Cindy, I also know that you've been working really closely with your local city in Boulder City, to improve transportation as well. So I don't know if you have any information that you'd like to send me, or someone you'd like for us to invite as well to that discussion.
Thank you, John. In Boulder City, and it's in a couple of other small towns around Southern Nevada, we have Silver Rider. And that's a really unique, valuable kind of service. they just go around Boulder City, and then twice a week they go to Henderson and Las Vegas for like Walmart and that sort of thing. But it seemed to be an obvious answer to the question, like how do people in and Boulder City is geopolitically considered a rural community, to have that kind of situation. And then other than that, I'm struggling because I don't know what the future lies for our son, and if he ends up in Las Vegas, I don't know how I get him to his job down here. We don't have Uber down here. Nobody drives Uber down here in Southern Nevada and Boulder City. But to me, this Silver Rider is kind of like the gold stone of what we have in Nevada. And I think that would be something for us all in the state to examine what they do.
Cindy, this is Linda Vivota for the record. Is that a shuttle that is the Silver Rider?
No, it's actually kind of like you have to call at least 2 days ahead. And it'll pick you up. It'll take me to get my nails done. It'll take me to do volunteer things, that sort of thing. It's not limited, but it's not a shuttle. It doesn't just drive around the town. It is very specific. So like if I call for a ride at 11:30 a.m., it cannot get me because it's picking up all the elderly people, which I'm one of them, to go to the senior center for lunch. So they're really tight during that time. They have 2 buses. But then the rest of the time I try to make my appointments at other times. But I think the woman who runs Silver Rider has tried to align herself with RTC, which I have mixed feelings about, because once the big conglomerate gets a hold of it, I think we're going to lose control over it. They know me, they know my son's name, they know it's very small town Mayberry-ish. And maybe if we had something like this in the rest of the rurals up and down Nevada, that might be a help. But that's the best I can offer. Any other questions?
Well, this is Dee Dee Formaster for the record. All I've got to say is that they are doing the 25-year write up on what is needed in the transportation world for Northern Nevada right now. So there's no time like the present to be able to get that information out to them. So thank you.
Dee Dee, this is Cindy Swanson. I think that's wise. Myself and about 5 other people were on a panel a couple of weeks ago for the RTC, and everything that we were saying, the RTC consultant kept saying, well, we'll do training, and well, we'll try to get you to understand how to do this. Now, I've been blind since I was 40. I've been dealing with paratransit for a long time. And if they're trying to train me or my son with Down syndrome or any of our other folks who are significantly challenged intellectually, they don't need to train us. They need to just provide better service. And I think that's what really concerned me when they were doing this focus group. I've been in focus groups. I can see them. I can smell them a mile away. It's I'm a little suspicious. So I think you're right. Now's the time to do it. Thank you, Dee Dee.
I need to put this down because I gotta go. So let's get your information to Dawn, and we'll put it on that next agenda. And I'd like to thank everybody for coming. And I call this meeting adjourned.
Julie, this is Dawn Lyons. Just before we adjourn, I know we moved back into future agenda items and we were starting public comment. Should we revisit public comment one last time just in case?
Like, does anyone have public comment? No.
Thank you. I just didn't want to leave that an open loop. I appreciate it.
I promise we need to